Welcome to the 30-minute hour. It's the weekly podcast where we discuss business, sports, politics, and whatever's on our mind. I'm your host, Eric Twiggs, your procrastination prevention partner. Joining me always is my partner in crime, my right-hand man. You know him as the all-around good guy, business strategist extraordinaire, Ted Fales.
Hello, all. It sure is hot out there today, if you didn't know.
It definitely is. I think we're close to triple digits. Pretty hot out.
Close to. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I think it's 200 degrees out there.
200 degrees.
It's 200 degrees.
Yeah, it's pretty hot out. As you can see, everybody, this is not your everyday podcast. You can find our previous episodes by visiting the 30minutehour.net, and you can see the things we've got archived. You can see the videos that we've got stored. You can also, if you're looking at us right now, you can see we've got a guest that's sitting here. We will introduce him here in just a second. I know quite a few of you are listening on your mobile podcast device. And before we get to our show today, again, I definitely wanted to mention, Ted, the What Now movement and the What Now movement group. And today was Motivational Monday. So, Mondays in the What Now movement group, it's either Motivational Monday or it's Mental Health Monday. Today was motivational. And we had Mayma Carmo. You remember her from a few episodes back.
Yeah.
She was extremely motivational.
Still motivating. She didn't stop. She was motivating a couple weeks ago. She was motivating on Monday today.
Yeah. And like I just imagine she just turned her computer on and just started talking. That's just
start motivating.
Right. That's just so much a part of what she does. It just came across as so natural. But definitely
a motivating machine.
Oh, for sure. That's definitely something you want to go back and check out. You want to go to the What Now movement group. Every day there's a different theme. Tomorrow it's Time Management Tuesday, and Mary Abijay is going to leave some excellent time management tips that we all need to be aware of. So, Ted, I got something that's on my mind.
Really? Please share, Eric.
Thanks, Ted. Thanks.
Was that better?
That was better.
I was working on it. I know I've been a little slow to the draw in the past. I figured I'd just jump right on it so you can just go ahead and share what's on your mind.
All right. I appreciate that. So today I want to talk about how to find a mentor in the marketplace. That's right. How to find a mentor in the marketplace. And this really ties into our guest today and kind of what his passions are and the theme of the show. So we'll talk about this. And so I hate to admit, Ted, I hate to admit this. As a matter of fact, I've never shared this on another podcast before.
Really?
Yeah. So back in the day, this had to be the mid 90s or so. I was a store manager and I managed automotive service centers. And I was struggling. Yeah, I was really struggling. Like I was struggling to get results. It was really an uncomfortable time in my life. I was struggling to generate and increase sales. I was struggling to hire people. I'm struggling with my customer service and my customer satisfaction scores.
Just struggling.
I was struggling. Yeah, literally, my boss would fly in town. We'd have these uncomfortable visits. It was just a real time of struggle in my life. And so back in those days, they had those infomercials that would come on all the time. And I saw this one from Tony Robbins. He was on, and it was a game changer for me. And he was talking about He said something that just really stuck with me, and it sticks with me to this day. He said that success leaves clues. And it's almost like that woke me out. That woke me up out of my struggle. And he went on to stress the importance of finding people who had already achieved the result that you aspire to, and ask them what they did to get there. Success leaves clues. So after that, it's just like a switch went off in me. So if I was ever trying to improve sales, all I did was I found somebody who had sales improvement. And literally, and I called them and found out what they did, and I did the same thing. You know, if somebody had a track record of hiring great people, and before I said, "Oh, they're just lucky," but this time I started calling them. Hey, what are you doing? And they said, hey, here's how I do my ad. Here is what I'm doing here. Here's how I'm doing my interview. And guess what? I started to see a lot of the same results. And so here's the truth that I learned. I learned that you can't achieve greatness in isolation. That finding a mentor in the marketplace is the key to overcoming your struggles. Got to find that mentor in the marketplace. So let's fast forward to today. So today I use what I've called the who, why, what formula. That's right, Ted. The who, why, what formula. This is something that can help you to find a mentor in the marketplace. So if there's a specific result I want, if there's a specific challenge that I'm having, I ask myself, okay, who is already succeeding at that thing? Okay. I just go into the formula. I start looking at who's already succeeding. And then next I ask, okay, well, why is it that they're experiencing success? And then the final question I'll ask is, what can I duplicate to experience the same level of success? That's it. Who, why, what? If you want to find a mentor in the marketplace, when you're facing a challenge, instead of just putting your head down and getting to work, just start asking yourself, who I work. Don't be like I was in the 90s where I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. Right. Just ask yourself that question, who, why, and what. And so here's the thing. But once you find that mentor, you can meet up with that person and you can share some Chosen Joe's coffee as you talk about your plans.
Sure. I like how you did that. I like how you did that. Chosen Joe's coffee. All right.
Right. Chosen Joe's coffee. It's funny that we talk about Chosen Joe's coffee because that leads us to our guest. And this is the reason I talked about this topic, and I really want to hear his insight on this idea of finding a mentor in the marketplace, because our guest today, he has a passion for mentoring emerging entrepreneurs, right? So he's the founder of Heritage Rags, which is a streetwear brand that's laced with African style, design and vibrancy. And he's a co-founder of Chosen Joe Coffee Company, the veteran-owned, handcraft, fresh roasted retail coffee company. Through his leadership and vision, he's propelled both companies to another level in their respective market segments. He's graduated with a bachelor's degree in art and political science, and the bachelor's of art and political science and economics from the University of Wisconsin Whitewater. He got an MBA from Amberton University, and a Master of Arts in Procurement and Acquisitions from Webster University. He is somebody, Ted.
Oh, he is somebody for sure.
He is somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
And today, his purpose and passion lies in looking for new business opportunities and helping emerging entrepreneurs launch themselves in their preferred marketplace through mentorship and by cultivating trusted relationships. Please join me in welcoming to the 30-Minute Hour podcast, Peter J. Amara.
All
Thank
right.
you, thank you, guys. Man,
Awesome.
Eric, Ted, that's quite a welcome, man. I mean, you guys are doing it. You guys are doing it. You know,
Thank
I've
you,
been
man.
following you
Thank you.
guys and following these podcasts, and
Thank
you know,
you.
thanks for having me. Appreciate being here, and you know, whatever I can do to share my stories, man. I'm looking forward to our discussion.
And
Yeah,
Eric, and I've been bugging him for a while to get on here. So it was only a matter of time. I've been calling him, emailing him. Next move, I was gonna have to go out in front of his house. So I'm glad we was able to get him on here. We're happy to have you on here. We're excited. Our listeners want to hear your story. Not every day do you see someone that just created their own coffee. So we're excited to hear about that.
Hey Ted, I told you I was gonna be on. It was just, you know, it was only a matter of time, man. I told you I was definitely gonna be on, but I really appreciate you guys making the time to have me on.
That's
yeah,
right.
absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, it certainly is an honor and privilege to have you on. So I want to, before we really get to the meat of this, I want to talk about this passion that you have for mentorship. You feel like that's a part of your purpose. Let's talk about that. What is it about mentorship that has you so passionate?
Well, I think for one, it's probably because growing up, I didn't have one, right? I, you know, a lot of us probably have similar experiences where we may have mentorship in so many other areas, but not the area that we're really interested in. For example, I never had any mentorship in business. Didn't really know anyone that owned a business personally that could show me the ropes. And so you see that in our community, we lack that. There's a lot of times we have, you know, you go to a lot of businesses, it's the people that are working those businesses that understand the ins and out of that businesses are typically not the business owners because they didn't have that mentorship to really run it. But when you look from the outside in, they're really the ones that are running it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So really, I mean, in the 21st century, there is a lot of things that back in the day would have made it very hard for people to start and run a business. That today it's a little bit simpler. It's not easier, but it's a little bit simpler because a lot of tools have been automated. So a lot of the barriers back in the day, you can avoid those. And so with the right mentorship, you can get a lot of people who have that vision or that drive or just that zest to start their own business, be able to do that. But if the mentorship is not there to help them avoid some of those mistakes that the ones that came before have made, then you know it only takes one or two failure for some people to give up. And that's why I always want to be there and provide mentorship where I can, but also tell folks that I ask that need it or that are coming after me that hey, you too can do it. You just really need to have that passion. You really need to have that zest, and you said it. Look for a mentor. Once you find someone that can give you that guidance and show you that way, that path, it's I mean, it's home game.
Absolutely. I just think more entrepreneurs and even career professionals in their work career should look for mentors. But sometimes I think we think, asking for help is a sign of weakness. But no, I mean, I think it can save you a lot of time.
So Eric, and it's even easier today. Like back in the day, for you to have a mentor, you got to step up to somebody. You got to walk up to somebody. You got to know somebody that knows someone who works in that career field or is doing that business for you to step up to. Now you got tools like LinkedIn. Do you know how many mentors that I've gotten from LinkedIn? Folks that I've actually reached out to and they've sent me a message back. I got mentors in Africa that I've never met, but I was inspired by what they were doing. I reached out to them, and these are guys that are doing big things across the continent. I have mentors here in the States that are, that own multi-million-dollar businesses that I'm inspired by what they do. And I basically send them a message on LinkedIn saying, hey, I'm inspired by what you do. And if you don't mind, I'd like to have you as a mentor. And I tell them why. And some of them, it doesn't even take a day for for you to get a response back, and someone say, "Hey, Pete, nice meeting you. Glad to know you. I'm honored. I'll be more than happy to do this. When are you available? Let's do a 5-minute chat or something like that." So the tools are available now for people to do it. That's what I was saying. Like back in the day, it took like so much for you to get to your destination. But I'm not saying it's easier now, but there are tools now that can help a lot of aspiring folks to get to where they want to go faster than it used to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're here, we're talking to Peter Amara, the entrepreneur extraordinaire. I can see we've got quite a few people that have logged on. We got a couple of comments, so please continue to type your comments into the chat section. If you got a question for Peter or myself or Ted, type that in. I see Esther Ivory typed in a comment. She said, "That's funny. I've reinvented the wheel over the years." And that's what Esther had to say. So continue. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just get a mentor like Peter.
Well, it looks like Genesis is on here, and she's asking about, is the coffee sold in the stores? Because you see you keep sipping it, Peter. She said it must be good. So she want to know, is it in the stores or just online? So Genesis, I'm sure Peter's gonna answer that question for you on where you can get that coffee. But he's over there working, and I done got thirsty. I know you can't be selling coffee and then you over there drinking orange juice. That's got to be coffee you're sipping on over there in that mug.
It is, man. I tell you what, Ted. Part of this business too is you got to be able to like really put in the time, right? Work, and so I need my coffee to keep me awake.
There you go.
When you're working those 18-hour days trying to make a lot of things happen, you definitely need that Java to keep you up and running.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I wanted to go back, Eric, to we were talking about mentors. And when I first started my company, my IT firm, I sat down with probably close to 10 different IT business owners and just asked them how they get started and what are some of the things and challenges and loopholes. And what I ended up finding out is there was some consistency across several of the individuals and how they got started and got their companies going. And it helped me to create a checklist. So, so definitely you can have mentors that can be somebody just working with you directly, or just some people that you just have a conversation with from time to time, or just watch what they do from afar as well.
Yeah. Now I hate to say this too, if I can jump in too, Ted. Sometimes the reaction from a lot of people that are looking for mentors, they think that the mentor really doesn't have time, right? Because they're running a big firm. They're doing big things, right? They got a bigger fish to fry. They ain't got time for me, the mentee. And I tell you what, that's a misnomer, man. That's because, and I hate to put it this way, but sometimes, people just need their ego stroked, right? Like when you come up to someone and really say, "I admire you, you inspire me, I want you to be my mentor so you can show me the ropes." It's a big deal to a lot of people. And if they accept that challenge, they're now vested in your success. They don't want you to fail. So in reverse, they work hard to make you successful because, for lack of a better word, you're now a project for them, right?
Oh yeah.
They want you to be successful. So they work hard to ensure that you got, the tools, the skills. Now they're not going to give you money, some of them may not, right?
No.
But they got connects. Their Rolodex is deep. I know a lot of millennials or folks now don't know what Rolodex is, but they got their contact in their phone. But same thing. They got deep connects of people they know that they can link you up with, because it all comes down to relationship. I don't care if you got a great idea and you're doing big things. If you don't have the relationships to help you succeed, it becomes challenging.
Great point.
Absolutely. So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's start from your college days. So you were an undergraduate at the University of Wisconsin. I see you were a political science and economics
Yes, sir.
major. So what were your career plans back then? Did you think you'd be doing what you're doing now?
No. So, funnily enough, before I went to college, I actually joined the Army straight from high school, right? So I joined the Army, did a couple of years. So I had the GI Bill that I went to college, that I took and went to college. And so in college, I really had, the whole college thing was, I told my parents that I was going to go to college and I wanted to go to college. So when I joined the Army, my parents were like, hey, that's not a good idea. You should have gone to college. But long story short, it really felt like I was really going to college to please my folks, right? Once I got in there, I started loving the experience, started taking my courses seriously. But I was drawn to social science, right? So political science, economics, things that actually helped communities, things that shaped communities. So, but because I still had that military stink on me, I kind of, figured that once I graduated, I was going to go back into the Army as an officer, which is what I did. So I really did not get my economics or political science degree after I graduated and went out to work in industry. I basically went back into the Army, went to officer candidate school, and got commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Army.
Okay. So if you could go back in time to when you were a sophomore on campus with the knowledge you have now, what advice would you give to yourself?
Oh boy, explore so you can really know what you want, what you want to do. Because don't be like me, just going to college for, going sake, right? You can take advantage of your time that you're there because you are really running into a lot of people coming from all over the country, right? You got folks that, you otherwise will not have met from your neighborhood. So you got different talents that are coming in. You got folks that have been there before you got there. You also have professors that you can reach out to. But if for sophomores today, if you work hard in knowing what you really want to do, there are tools that can really, really get you to be all you really want to be. It goes back to my earlier statement. If you want to do business, there are business tools. Heck, there are folks that can launch their business and start making money before they even graduate. Because you see, business, usually comes about because of gaps that you have that's not being satisfied in the marketplace. And right from campus, you may be able to see things that students want that they're struggling with. And it may be easy for you to launch your website and get your business going. And you can automate that stuff and still focus on your schoolwork while you have all that automation working for you. But if I have to go back and advise my sophomore self, it's really taking the time to understand what I really want. Because it's an exercise. Understand what I really want and figure out the tools that I need to get me there.
Awesome. So, it's interesting. It's like society kind of conditions us to go to school, get a good job, work for 40 years and retire, do everything right, make sure you get good grades, by the way. But you seem like, you kind of took that and just had this entrepreneurial focus. So talk about what experiences kind of pointed you in the entrepreneurial direction as opposed to like just coloring within the lines.
Yeah. And for me, it really wasn't an experience. It was really because entrepreneurship is naturally an exciting thing, right? Being your own boss, because that's really all what people think about. You're an entrepreneur. You're your own boss. You don't have to work hard, which usually is not true.
Surprise!
Yeah,
surprise.
exactly.
Surprise!
Exactly. Sometimes you got to work harder than you did at your day job. But
That's
I
right.
will say though, usually those hard work are usually the most fulfilling because it's like your own baby. You're working on your own baby. You're not working on somebody else's baby. But
Mm.
entrepreneurship is naturally exciting, and so my entrepreneurial journey did not really come from like a business experience as opposed to a focus or a zest that I really had. The notion of building my own enterprise, the notion of building my own enterprise, the idea of building wealth, and also helping others in the process.
Mm.
That was really what got me there, and also the opportunity, right? So my first business that I launched was called Envade Brand, which was a clothing business that I got spun into Heritage Rags. But I had wanted to get in the clothing business for a long time because naturally I sketch things, I design stuff. So I had a big old book of a bunch of designs that I had done over the years. And I remember the first time that I really wanted to start a business was back in 98, 99. With all my, I wanted to start like a screen printing, business, on t-shirts. But to start that business, then you had to actually rent a place or actually get a facility. You had to buy the machine. You got to get the training, to do the screen printing, or you got to hire folks. And all I knew was I knew how to sketch stuff. I didn't know all that stuff. And all that stuff involved a lot of money. So my dream died, right?
Mm.
But what I meant by opportunity last time was I was stationed in Los Angeles, and I went to a wheel shop once to get some 20s for my ride, right, for my
All
car.
right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Riding them 20s.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay,
Yep.
okay.
And luckily for me, at that store, I met a gentleman who actually owned a business that made denim jeans and t-shirts in the fashion district in LA. We hit it off, became friends, and later on he knew that I was doing all these sketches. He was like, hey, I can get all that stuff on a t-shirt for you. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, I make t-shirts for all these companies. You go to these stores, you see all these t-shirts and stuff. I'll make those, because he was like business to business. He didn't have a brand. I'm like, boom, that's the opportunity right there. Now, I didn't have to buy my own screen printing machine. I didn't have to hire my own like employees. I didn't have to like train myself. All I had to do was get him my designs. He had the stuff on the doggone, shirt, or however, I worked on the layouts and all that stuff. And that business was born. But that business later on became Heritage Rags, which is what I have today. But that's what I talk about opportunity. Like back in the day, things like that didn't exist. But like now, you can work those relationships to ensure that, it's a win-win.
See,
So we have one of our past guests watching right now, Rosetta Wright, who's the founder of Coco Bamani. So there may have to be some connections there. You can maybe watch one of our past shows where you hear a similar story of how she and her partner have been able to get their clothing line going. So that definitely may be some future collaborations there. So glad Rosetta was on to join tonight to hear about your clothing.
Absolutely, Ted, and that's what I preach all the time. Sometimes I know when I started in this business, it was easy for you to be greedy and you wanted to have everything by yourself. I just want to do my own thing, and I realized real quick that you don't really go anywhere far with that mindset.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who said that. They said if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with others. And so I'm always looking out for either aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, folks that are doing it right now, to see how we can collaborate, how we can work together to go far together.
Can you say that quote again? I think that's so critical. If you want to go
fast,
I
forgot who said it, but they said if you want to go fast, Go alone.
I think I said it. Did I say it?
Ted, you
That's
know, I
where I heard
believe
it
you
before.
did.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said it first.
If you want to go fast, go alone. And typically, people that go fast and go alone, they get burned out.
Yeah.
But if you want to go far, you go with others. You know, that's like really sprinting as opposed to a marathon, you know? Because you have a lot of support. And that's one of the reasons why Chosen Joe has been successful, because I got partners. Because, I mean, you know, you guys have businesses and you know how it is. There's just some days when you hit the wall and you don't feel like doing this stuff. Or you may run into a bad decision made or something happened and your motivation is like down, you know, and you need your partners to lift you up.
Yeah.
But when it's just you, it's easy to quit. It's easy to make excuses for why you're not making things happen, you know, so it's always good to collaborate.
Absolutely.
For sure. So you're the co-founder of Chosen Joe, the coffee company.
Yes, sir.
Feels like we have a lot of questions out here in Facebook land about coffee, and people want you to send them coffee and all that. But
We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, but we're doing a lot of Instagram and Facebook. Chosen Joe Coffee Co.
there you go. So what inspired you to start this venture?
Oh man, Chosen Joe has been a labor of love. This is, I mean, if you look around you, there are a bunch of people that drink coffee all the time. You know, you go to Starbucks. I know even with the pandemic, you still got people that are going out there venturing out for coffee. We've always, so long story short, I was in Afghanistan in 2013, ran into two brothers. And it's crazy because we knew of each other back here in the States prior to, but really didn't know each other. It wasn't until we got to Afghanistan that we formed our friendship. And for people who are prior service, who've been in the military, they know that friends that are usually made, you know, in the battlefield, you know, out there where you never know if today is going to be your last. You know, those are really, you know, dear in friendship. So met these two guys. One of them is Mike Valdez. The other is Elliot Kagans. We were all there, had different missions. And, but the one thing that we did every day was every morning, if we were on the same post, we'll meet to have a cup of coffee to start our day. We'll meet first thing in the morning, have a cup of coffee, start our day, and then we'll go off on mission on whatever else we had going on. And really look forward to meeting the next time or the next day if we're on the same base to have coffee. Because like I said, you never know if when you went out, you know, that was going to be it. So that became our tradition. You know, every time we were there, every morning we'll drink coffee. So we said, hey, you know what? We need to start our own coffee company. You know, just like that, right? And typically what happens when people say that, you're like, yeah, whatever, you know. The idea comes, everybody gets excited, you know, you start putting, you know, pen or paper to write things up, and then 2 or 3 days later, you forget about it. We're still drinking coffee though. But fast forward years later, we came back, you know, 3 of us came back, you know, to the States, obviously. And over the years, we spent time to really perfect the concept. And I mean, this was, about the summer of 2013 that we had this concept. Spring, you know, late spring to early summer. And we didn't launch Chosen Joe Coffee Company till March of this year, in the middle of a pandemic too, right? Wow. So it's like, this desire was so, like, we had it so much that even the pandemic couldn't stop us. Yeah, wow. Even the pandemic couldn't stop us. But we took all that time to perfect what we wanted the blend to be, what we wanted the theme to be, and who our market was, and you know, there weren't really too many like Black-owned, handcrafted coffee company that we knew of, you know, at that time. So this was really something that we're excited about. And I'm really happy that we stuck in there, me and the guys, and finally pulled it off. And the company's been doing good. We've been growing organically, and we just can't wait to expand our Chosen Joe Coffee family.
I want to ask a question. It's interesting in the business that I'm in, and kind of IT, government contracting. A lot of the businesses that are very successful are businesses that are led by people that have had military service. I've noticed that, right? Or within their organization, they have people that are retired military or have been in the military. What is it that you think that, I guess that military service experience kind of, translates to a certain, mindset to be successful in business?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question, Ted. A lot of times people will say ingenuity. I will lean more towards discipline, right? Discipline and vision. So like, for military guys, you have discipline because we run on a routine. You get to do stuff. It doesn't matter if the job's hard to do, you're going to do it because, that's just how we're disciplined to do. And also mission. In the military, you have a mission, you have to accomplish that mission. So in business, when you have that task, you don't have that mentality where you have the luxury of, just, throwing the towel because it's all of a sudden it's hard or things kind of changed, right? But, the skills, that we bring to business really, I would say, are that discipline, that mission mindset, adaptability, because, every time in the military, you got, your mission laid out for you, you got your plan to go and accomplish that mission. Something happens. You don't pack up your tools in your toolbox and go home and say, well, things changed, so I wasn't able to do it. No, you got to figure out a way to make it work. And so I think a lot of those qualities that we bring to the marketplace or to business kind of helps us, stay on the grind. When things change, see how we can adapt. That mission mindset, we got to accomplish that mission, I think really helps distinguish us, really helps with that distinguishing capability, against a lot of the folks that are civilians.
I like the way you said that, kind of stay on the grind. Was that tied into the coffee?
Absolutely. I mean, think about it, man. That's we got to roll that that coffee terminology in there once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Gina Young put a comment out here, says wonderful story on the website. So must
appreciate it. Thanks.
Anything you want to share about that?
Yeah. So I mean, it's honestly, when you have a story like that, you're in it, right? Whether the business is doing well or not, you have that mission. You're in it, and for us, if people go to the website, they see that we also have a social component to what we do. I consider myself a socialpreneur, because a lot of the inspiration in doing what we do also have to do with how we can empower the communities where we operate, communities where we work. What can we give back, right? And it's easy to set up an organization and ask people to donate so you can give back. But what we rather do is create a product that people want and generate revenue from that product, and see from that revenue what we can take to give back to those communities. But those are the things that keep us going, Ted. We just we stay knowing that what we're doing eventually helps some of the community that we serve in, and I don't want to sit here and say we don't have bad days, but we have more better days than bad days.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what makes your coffee company different from the others that are out there? What's different about your coffee?
Oh man, I had lunch today, and I was asked that very same question, because there are some other coffee companies that are veteran owned or military mindset. A lot of times the coffee companies that you deal with here probably don't even know where their beans come from. We take pride, and that's really why we're Chosen Joe, right? We take pride in choosing. We're very selective in the beans that we have. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that there are coffee warehouses here in the States where local coffee roasters will go to those warehouses and basically buy their beans. Now, they don't know where the beans came from. I mean, it may have a sign that says it came from Colombia or wherever, but they can't really know for sure. And what distinguishes us is we actually get our coffee from smallholder farms in Colombia and in Kenya. And next year, we are actually thinking about bringing in beans from Sierra Leone. And that's actually my birth country where I was born. But we carefully select those beans. We know those smallholder farmers. We work with those farmers in those communities, get the beans here, and we do premium roasting, right? Which means a lot of our coffee doesn't get roasted months ahead of time and sitting on shelves. We roast in small batches. So you're basically going to get an organic certified coffee that's actually premium, handcrafted, fresh roasted, because we roast in small batches to get in packaged and sent to our customers. But it all comes down to quality. Our coffee is premium and quality than most of the coffee that you see on the market.
Wow, that's what I've been looking for, some small batch roasted coffee. So now I know exactly where to get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because, a lot of times some of this coffee that you have no idea when it was roasted. Could have been 12 months ago, right? So it loses, it loses that flavor. But we roast small batches, so we don't have a lot of inventory sitting on shelves. Typically, when folks order from us, the order goes out the same day. Or if they order late in the afternoon, it will go out the next day, the next working day.
Man, you have painted this picture. I got a taste for some coffee right now, Eric. I don't know,
bro. I'm telling you, man.
I'm trying to tell you.
ChosenJoe.com.
All right.
Yeah, get on there and check out the different themes and blends that we have. And we've also provided an opportunity for folks to go on the website and tell us what they think about the coffee, and we've been getting very good reviews. So really excited about that.
So now
we're gonna have to
people are gonna be rushing left and right to go to Chosen Joe to get their coffee at the way you painted this picture. So when they go to this, is there like a most popular selection or most popular blend you want to tell people? Because like I said, they are literally getting on their phone right now to get some coffee.
So that's really the hardest thing, because all of our blends are good, right? So we got we have three regular blends. We have our light roast, our medium roast, and our dark roast. First Call, Rolling Along, and Old Guard. Really good. So it really depends on your roast profile. If you want more caffeine on that regular roast, go with the First Call. But all of the blends are great. Now, we also have flavored blends. And that's the Kentucky Vintage, which has a bourbon flavor. So if you're a bourbon kind of person, you love that. We also have the front lean and rest, which is really a caramel flavor. So if you like that chocolatey caramel flavor and stuff, you'll enjoy the front lean and rest. And then we have, if you're a high caffeinated type person, you want to be jumping and bouncing off walls, we got the Soise Ponte. Now that is really our high caffeine blend right there. So really, Eric, to answer your question, all the blends are good. It just depends on your roast profile and your taste buds.
Yeah, see, Ted, I've learned something today. I learned that a roast profile.
We got to get our roast profile together before we start thinking about some Chosen Joe. You don't want to get the wrong thing based on
definitely. A lot of times people think that the light roast has the higher caffeine content because you haven't really burned the coffee too much to get the caffeine out of it, right? So, but we're actually doing a lot of content on the website. We're trying to put some educative, materials on there so people can learn more about coffee, learn more about the locations where we get our coffee from. Like I said, we're currently getting our beans carefully selected from smallholder farmers in Colombia and in Kenya. And then next year, we'll be looking at bringing in coffee from Sierra Leone.
Excellent. So then going back a little bit, in 2017, you launched your streetwear brand, Heritage Rags. You started talking about that here a little bit, but kind of give us the big picture as far as how did this whole idea come about?
Yeah, so Heritage Rags, really, the inspiration for that always, I've been this designer kind of, I'll do designs, but never really turned my concept into reality, right? So when I started Envade brand, which was really more of a skateboard brand because I was in California then, I had t-shirts and denim jeans. The market was really saturated. And so being the socialpreneur that I am, there are a lot of activities, a lot of support that I wanted to give to, Sierra Leone. And so I was getting folks that were asking for me to design an African print on a streetwear. Because a lot of times when you see, the African, especially like, Black History Month, you see people wearing dashikis and all that stuff. It's a different fabric, different stuff. A lot of the, there was a market that wasn't filled or fulfilled at that time that felt like, man, we want to be able to rock our African stuff all year. But I don't want to be wearing, I don't want to wear that fabric and stuff that just looks like, I need to be wearing this stuff, just for Black History Month, right? Can we do this in a regular t-shirt so I can be rocking my stuff? And so that really started that whole idea of, there was a market that wasn't filled. So how can we take that African style, that African print, and turn that into a streetwear that basically caters to that market? And oh, by the way, a percentage from revenues from that market can go to some of the nonprofit activities that I was, doing in Sierra Leone at that time. So that's how that whole idea was born, and it's been successful since.
Awesome. So who would you say is kind of like your ideal target customer?
Typically the 18 to 35. And usually across all spectrum. So it's not just, folks from a particular segment and stuff. It's across all spectrum. Heck, I've had folks from the UK, from Europe, reach out and want to buy. And I'm like, well, right now we're not shipping to Europe. You know what I'm saying? We're just doing stuff here in the continental US. But it's really across all spectrum. For example, I'm a jean and t-shirt kind of guy, right? So that's my market. It's it cuts across all spectrum.
Peter, I think all of us now are jean and t-shirt kind of guys. I don't think I'm ever wearing another suit ever again. What do you say, Eric?
No, I was just talking about that. Like I'm trying to remember the last time I had a suit on. You know?
That's why it's really important to have your own business, because you can set the dress code. You know,
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And then you said the ideal age was 18 to 35. I'm just glad to know that I made the cut.
Oh, us millennials made this. Eric.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So that's the thing, right? You know, typically what happens, for example, I have a 15-year-old son that rocks, heritage rags all the time, right? He goes to his middle school, and, everybody wants to know, hey, what the heck's going on, right? But, typically when they create that market segments, you have folks on either side of that segment that still rock, our garments, our streetwear, and we're looking to see how we can add more offerings to that product. To that brand, and one of the reasons why I stay up 18-hour days, man, trying to come up with all these concepts to stay constantly ahead of the ahead of the grind.
So Ted, did you see what he's doing there? With the cup.
Oh, I'm watching what he's doing. Man, I want a cup of coffee so bad right about now in a Chosen Joe cup. Cause you have worked that thing doing this podcast.
Hey, let me know, Ted. I got you, man. I got you. Just let me know. So we offer coffee either in pods. So if you have a Keurig machine, you can order the pods. Or we also offer coffee in bags. And in bags, they either come whole beans. They either come as whole beans or grounded coffee. A lot of people don't want their coffee grounded because they got like a grind at home. They just want the roasted beans. So we send that to them too. So just let me know what you what your flavor is, man, and I can definitely get you something.
And you're gonna have to get Eric and I some of those Chosen Joe mugs to drink it out of.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm noticing, Peter, you have this pattern of taking things you're passionate about, things you have a talent for, and then just turning it into like this profitable enterprise. So what advice do you have for our followers that are watching right now? They've got things they're passionate about. What steps should they take to turn it into a business or an enterprise?
Hey, Eric, you just hit the nail on its head, man. A lot of times people want to go out and do something because somebody else said that thing makes money, but they're not really passionate about it. Hey, man, we can sell X, Y, and Z because we can make a lot of money, doing that. But you're not passionate about it. Because I tell you what, whenever you start having these thoughts about business, the picture is always rosy, right? Nothing bad's gonna happen.
Come to the floors. It's always rosy. Come to the floors. I can tell you.
No challenges, no
challenges, no nothing.
Everything.
And if you're not passionate about it, if you were just following the money, the sooner you run into challenges, that idea becomes, well, I wasn't really passionate about it anyway. I didn't really like that anyway, right? And then so all the time and effort and money and resources that you've wasted running after whatever it is you were doing, basically have gone down the drain. Although I can say, you learn from those experiences, but I would say, just like what you alluded to earlier, Eric, if you find what you're passionate about, that's where it starts. The money will come, trust me, because heck, you got people selling junk and making a lot of money selling junk because, something that you consider junk is someone else's treasure, right?
Look, Fred Sanford had a whole business on selling junk, didn't he?
That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. And so, I have an 18-year-old daughter that's going to VCU. She's a sketch artist. She's passionate about animals, right? And I was like, hey, passionate about animals. Why don't you sketch animals and you can put that on a t-shirt? And I tell you what, you wear that to class a couple of times and you got your signature on it. A lot of people will say, hey, where do you get that t-shirt? And before you know it, a bunch of people that love animals on t-shirts will start buying your stuff, right? Yeah. And your day will never be boring because you're passionate about animals and you're passionate about sketching stuff. And so that's really where it starts, Eric, being passionate about what you love, and then looking for the tools that can help you launch that business, looking for the mentors that can help you avoid some of those pitfalls, and then just, stay on the grind.
Stay on the grind.
Stay on the grind, brother. Stay on the grind.
There it is. There it is.
All right. So what's next on the horizon for you?
Oh man, I don't know. I always got my eyes wide open and my ears open to see what others are doing. I am collaborating on a couple other things with other people. Still working on the details, on those. But I'm always looking for opportunities to either collaborate with other folks. Also, to mentor people and tell them how we did it, and how, maybe that will help them take that leap. Because, sometimes people don't know what they don't know, and having that leap of faith to move out and actually execute what they've always wanted to do can be challenging. And so I'm always looking out there, for things like that. Personally, for me, looking at opportunities and also looking at ways that I can help other folks.
Great. Excellent. And how can our followers best connect with you?
Now, I hate to admit this. I have a personal Instagram account. I have a Twitter account. I have a Facebook account. But I've been, working so hard. I'm not on social media as much as I need to. And that is something that I need to change. But people can actually reach out to me on Facebook. Peter Amara. You can find me on Instagram, Peter, _ Amara. I'm also on Twitter, Peter J Amara 1. But you don't have too many Peter Amaras. The other one's my son, and people will see the difference. But yeah, folks can reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, and also on Twitter.
And can you throw out your?
And I'm also on LinkedIn. So.
Excellent. Can you throw out your website one more time? We still have people asking for the website link for the coffee.
Yes, website is chosenjoe.com. CHOSENJOE.com.
The official coffee of the 30-Minute Hour podcast, Chosen Joe Coffee.
Yep.
That's right.
Always on the grind.
Always on the grind. You got to stay always on the grind, brother.
I'm going to let you have that one.
Yeah. That's mine, because, you got the other one, You got the other one. You got the other one.
Yeah. Great.
Oh, man. So we're about to go around the horn. And this is the part of the show where we each leave that final thought with our followers based on the flow and theme of the show. So, Peter, we'll start with you. What's the final thought you want to leave the people with to remember you by?
Oh, man. Final thought. So, well, first of all, you got to check out chosenjoe.com, right? Make sure your listeners check the website out, see what we're doing. But I usually, these events, I try not to really make it about me, but about your listeners. Because, you guys are doing really good things, bringing a lot of entrepreneurs or people that are doing it to your listeners. That way you may have someone out there that wants to do their thing and they don't know how to go about it. This is definitely a way for them to reach out and touch somebody and find a mentor or whatnot. So I'm going to follow that same theme and just the things that we've been talking about today. So But my final thought, what I would say is, speaking to your listeners, 4 things actually. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Do what you care about. Take the risk and really believe in yourself, right? So think about those 4 things that I just talked about. Challenge yourself, do what you care about, take the risk, and believe in yourself. And then you really pair that up, because those are things that you have in you to do. And if you add that mentor to it to help you avoid those pitfalls and those mistakes, I think any one of your listeners will have a recipe, to go on and do great things in whatever capacity they want to do it.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. I know our listeners and followers took away a lot from that. So Ted?
I'm always the one that has to follow behind the guests, and they just drop some real profound nuggets.
Yeah.
And then that gives you time to take notes over there and think about what you're going to say. So it's a setup. But
you picked up on that, Ted.
Oh yeah, I've been checking that out. But no, this has just been really really good. Just a great interview, and and that the whole thing about just being passionate about what you do is huge, right? Like, it's not, like you said, it's not really just about the money. Oftentimes, people always be like, Ted, you're always working. Well, most of the entrepreneurs I know are always working. Like, I've never had an entrepreneur say to me, Ted, you're always working. Because all entrepreneurs, we kind of know that that's kind of in our DNA, right? That's kind of like what we do. And it's not really work to us because it's what you really enjoy doing, right? So whether you're just messing around on LinkedIn, trying to make connections, whether you're jotting down ideas, whether you're just having some discussions amongst friends, I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like work. But the same thing when you did it working for a company, it seemed like work. It's like they're working me to death, right? But when you're doing it for yourself, it's always something that you just can kind of keep going, and you just wake up in the middle of the night and just start just jotting something down and trying to come up with new concepts and new ideas. And it's just, it goes from just being work to just, just kind of a way of life, right? And I think that's, that's something you can enjoy doing. Like I can't see not doing something entrepreneurial, right? Like I just, people are like, oh, don't you want to just kind of retire and sit back and do what? Like, like, I can't imagine what that's like. Like, I'll be that, I guess that person that's in the senior citizens home and they're like selling something in there. I don't know, I'll figure something out, but I just can't just see just not being entrepreneurial. Like, when it's in you, it's in you. And then we can definitely tell that it's in you, because again, I want some coffee right about me. You have really got me thinking, and I'm not even really a coffee drinker, but I think I'm definitely gonna be trying all of it.
Yeah. We had, when we first started, we didn't have any decaf, because, it's like, what's the point for people to drink coffee without caffeine? And a bunch of our customers, started asking, hey, do you guys have decaf? Why don't you have decaf? I'm like, well, you're buying regular coffee. Why are you asking for decaf? And we're like, well, I got a family member that needs decaf. There's some folks that have some medical condition that couldn't get regular coffee, so they need decaf. We're like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess we have to provide decaf then. Yeah. So
Yes,
so we're offering decaf now too. So for people that don't want the caffeine, they can get the decaf blend as well. But you're absolutely right. There are folks that don't, drink coffee that are coming on board and getting stuff that suits their taste bud.
That's right. Eric, you better have something really good, because we gave you a lot of time to prepare. So drum roll, you better close this thing out like a Prince concert back in the day. You better do it.
So here's what I was thinking, right? And you know, we're talking about this whole mentorship thing. And one thing I noticed, a lot of people they procrastinate when it comes to starting their venture. And the main reason they procrastinate is because of perfectionism, right? It's like, okay, I need to have all the answers. So I want to start this coffee venture. I love drinking coffee. I want to get my grind on, but you know, how am I going to attract partners, and how am I going to, they have all these questions about the details, and because they don't have everything all mapped out perfectly, they don't start, right? But the solution is to look at mentors, find mentors. And let's say they come up to someone like you can give them all the details and the steps and what you did and, you know, what you regret doing, where you can save them from bumping their head. So that's really what stood out to me on this, how important mentors are, and they could really help to stop that whole procrastination thing and help you to really get started. When
you know, Eric, a lot of that ties into what we're doing with the What Now movement as well.
Yes.
I mean, you got hundreds of entrepreneurs and authors that are open to sharing, you know, how they got started and lessons learned, and are willing to, you know, to help you out. You may want to talk a little bit about that.
Oh, for sure. So we've got over 1,200 people in the group and counting. I mean, you got, like you said, you got authors, you've got educators, you've got
You'll be holding out on me. I need to hear about this.
Oh yeah, get in the movement, man.
I need to hear about this. What now? Yeah.
That's it.
But no, Ted, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think that's the perfect example. There is somebody in that group who has been through whatever you're struggling with. You're like, man, you know what? I want to write a book, but I don't know where to start. I mean, there's countless people I could direct you to that are in the group. There's countless people in the group that can help you publish that thing. And it'll look like it came from a big time international publisher. So I mean, there's resources, you know, so we can't get stuck by this thing of I don't know what to do next. I don't have it all mapped out. And I think mentorship is the key. And Peter, I mean, again, I applaud you for really embracing opportunities to mentor other people and for your entrepreneurial spirit.
I tell you what, man, I mean, you brothers you know, basically an inspiration to me. The community that you guys have here and growing is definitely something that that, you know, one aspires to be in, because like you said, you know, you could be in a community like this and something that's probably being in the back of your mind that you know, may not have even thought about, but all of a sudden now you're in a community, you know, full of folks that can actually help get you on the path to whatever it is you wanted to do. That in itself is power right there, but really power to your listeners, power to the community, power to the folks that you guys are cultivating. And so I'm really excited to be part of your, you know, family. Thanks for inviting me on today. I can't wait for the next invitation. Can't wait to be back on. And I'm definitely going to look up that What Now movement, because it is a community that I want to be a part of.
Absolutely. Eric, we might have to get him on a motivational Monday or something. He's got a very inspirational story.
Absolutely. Yeah, so definitely I'll be talking to you about that. So
yes, sir. I will. Trust me, I would love to be part of that. Right. I live for stuff like this, you know, growing that community and be able to expart, you know, knowledge and also receive knowledge from folks. But, you know, this is the kind of things that I really like being a part of.
Great.
Fantastic. Yeah, this has been another great episode of the 30-Minute Hour podcast.
This episode number what, Eric? Do you remember?
We are on episode number 67 now.
Wow. 67 episodes. Just amazing guests that we've had, amazing stories, and this is just, you know, you did not disappoint today, Peter. So we appreciate it.
Well, hey, thanks guys for having me. I've been looking forward to it. sorry it took me longer, to get on here than I'm sure you would have liked, Ted, but I'm happy that
Good.
you guys still invited me on. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm happy you didn't give up on me. So
No, man, no. I was gonna call you, text you, Facebook you, hit you on the Signal network. I mean, one way I told you next thing I was gonna come over your house, so it was gonna happen.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
Cool.
again, well, thank you for being on the show. Again, this has been a great episode of the 30-Minute Hour podcast. You can visit us on the 30minutehour.net to get archived episodes. You can also catch us on the 30-Minute Hour Facebook page to watch the live episodes we broadcast every Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And don't forget that Wednesdays at 6 o'clock, we do the 30-Minute Hour live on lockdown. It is the funny side of this pandemic and social distancing, and even the funny side of business. We talk about our flops and failures in business.
We think we funny, so whether y'all think it's funny or not,
Right.
we think we funny, and it's free.
In our opinion, it's funny. Let's put it that way.
That's right.
But no, this is the place to go to let your hair down. It's a good show. Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. Make sure you check us out. Until next time, have a great one.